So the Trump administration froze more than $2 billion in grants for Harvard University after the school refused to comply with the White House's requirements. The Trump administration demanded the university eliminate its DEI programs and screen international students for ideological concerns. Yesterday, Harvard pushed back, calling the request illegal. In a statement, the university's president wrote, quote, "No government, regardless of which party is in power, should dictate what private universities can teach, whom they can admit and hire, and which areas of study and inquiry they can pursue." Harvard is now the first school to flatly reject the White House's demands, though other universities are pushing back. Last week, the White House announced it will halt federal funding for Cornell and Northwestern while the administration investigates alleged civil rights violations. Meanwhile, Columbia University had its funding restored last month after it agreed to a series of changes set by the White House. Chris Matthews, your thoughts on Harvard's decision not to cave?
Well, I have to say that the administration sometimes sets its targets in the right direction. The elite universities of this country are not exactly covered in roses right now in the way that they handle these demonstrations. I think everybody, whether you're a Jewish student or not, I think you want to have a right to go to a class when you're paying $90,000 a year in tuition. You have a right to go to the class and be taught by your professors and to enjoy the rights of a better university, a good university. And the fact that they had to be told to do this, they had to be told to let students go to school, which is what this is about, that they had to be told to do that, they had a problem in their own heads. So I think the elite universities are taking a beating right now. It's probably a smart move. It may not be nice, but it's one of those areas where people are rooting for this guy Garcia because they think he might be an innocent man being thrown into a prison in a foreign country. But the fact is, in this case, it's Trump going after the elites. He knows what he's doing. Politically, it's not going to hurt him. I think these universities have enough money to cover their legacies. They got a lot of money to handle it, so they're going to be able to take care of themselves. I don't want to be loose about this, but I think Trump targeting these universities is probably not the worst move he ever made.
I'm going to respectfully push back on this. I totally disagree. This is thought policing 101. This is not okay. The truth is, and I say this as a Jew, this is not. They are using anti-Semitism as a cloak. Right? If this administration really cared about anti-Semitism, there's a lot of stuff they could do. This is not about that. This is about targeting universities. This is about targeting speech. This is right out of an authoritarian playbook. And this is, and you know, they may say that it's one thing, but what I've been really impressed with is that we're seeing a lot of universities push back because they know this is illegal. So we have, right after Harvard did it, we saw MIT go right after that. We had already seen the president of Wesleyan, Michael Roth, do a really great job of pushing back. He was joined by the president of Amherst. There are huge numbers of academics and academic institutions that are going to push back on this because this is absolute government overreach at the highest order. It has nothing to do with anti-Semitism and everything to do with authoritarianism.
Former President Obama praised Harvard for their, all right, different points of view here. This is what we do. But here's what the former president said about Harvard's decision. Chris, you want to take the final word?
I just want to say something that happened in Harrisburg the other night, and I think that guy breaking in and starting a fire to kill the family of the governor of Pennsylvania was a serious act. It looked like anti-Semitism. It happened over a Seder weekend. I think there's a real challenge. I asked my friends who are Jewish, I said, are you worried? And they say yes. This is a problem. And the treatment of those students at Columbia is a serious problem. You don't stop a kid from going to school their parents paid for. It's serious. And it was judged, it was against those students and said, you can't go to class even to take an exam. Well, seriously, if you don't think that's a problem, you got a problem yourself.
I'm a Jew. I absolutely believe that anti-Semitism is a real and serious problem. But I also think that taking over Harvard University's teaching and academia and ideology is not the answer.
Fair enough. We'll leave it there and come back to this because this sounds like a good debate to have here. Chris Matthews, thank you. And you can now read his new Substack, Hardball with Chris Matthews. I love it. Still ahead.